morning. Welcome to Peak Cycles episode 68, and I'd first like to start off by thanking you, the viewers, as the Peak Cycles YouTube channel has reached 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. Keep the views coming in, the subscriptions, of course, and if you find the information on these videos useful, definitely motivates me to keep it going. Before we hit the shop, we're going to talk about kickstands today, a motorcycle kickstand used on a custom cruiser. But before we do, I'd like to talk about the John Brain Lifetime Achievement Award. Had quite a few new people on the scene and received some messages asking exactly what the award represents. So I'm going to give you a bit of history. Let's go ahead and take a look. First Lifetime Achievement Award was presented in 2015 to whom many consider the godfather of custom bicycles, John Brain. John started building custom bicycles at a young age in the early 70s and has never looked back. To this day, John still owns several bicycles, custom parts, and artifacts dating back to his early days. Today, John is networked throughout social media and heavily involved in a group page called History of Custom Bicycles by John Brain. If you're into custom bicycles and you're unfamiliar with John, look him up. I guarantee you'll learn a thing or two. Second Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Robert of HB Cruisers in 2016. Also started with custom bicycles at a young age, high school, building some of the first stretches ever using old Schwinn frames. In 1992, Robert started designing and fabricating his own stretch frames, the very first shown here, which in turn started HB Cruisers, which he ran out of his garage while holding down the day job. Today, Robert is retired, running HB Cruisers full force from a complete fabrication shop still located in Huntington Beach. Continuously coming up with concepts and frame designs, as well as some of the cleanest work in the industry. The third Lifetime Achievement Award was presented in 2017 to Warren Wong of Los Angeles, California. Very much into BMX and lowrider bikes throughout the 80s and 90s. Warren started a business called Slam and Ride, innovating and creating custom bicycle parts, very much the same as what you see today. Warren would soon cross over to the custom cruiser world and is better known as the Wheelmaster, creating art through building wheels and providing some of the most extreme wheel sets you'll see anywhere. The fourth Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Sick Nick out of Long Beach, New York, who also started building custom bicycles throughout high school. After fabricating his first stretch frame, he found himself traveling out of the country sharing some of the most innovative engineering in the custom bicycle world. Nick is also responsible for opening the first custom cruiser shop in the country. Local cycles still going strong, and recently invested in his own brand. The fifth Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Gary of Low Life Bikes out of Florida. Very well known for his unique plate frames and front-loading trikes, but it doesn't end there. 17 years strong with a resume of some of the most creative frames and builds you'll see in custom bicycles. Low Life Bikes has since moved into a larger shop, combining talents of Low Tide Customs and RJ's Customs, better known today as the Flip Flop Mafia. The most recent and sixth Lifetime Achievement Award was presented to Art Ramirez of Los Angeles, California, also known as the Scrap Father. Earned his name over the fact that he could fabricate a bicycle from just about anything. Some of the most intricate work in custom bicycles, Art is no stranger to fabrication. Art, along with his partner JP, is also responsible for the popular Bombita frame, of which they recently collaborated with McCargy Bikes to go full production. Growing up as a kid, I built Schwinn bicycles and lowriders, which eventually led to custom cruisers and hosting monthly rides here in Southern California. At first, the numbers were small, but after several months and the word getting out, the rides just got bigger and bigger and bigger. First dipped into fabrication in 2014 and threw my name in the hat in 2015 with the Captain America and won the first OBC build-off. Following year, I returned with the Smoke Wagon. Next thing you know, it was build after build after build. Since day one of holding that torch, Peak Cycles have been fortunate to provide handlebars, components, and frames. Worldwide. True honor to be included with the list of names and individuals I just shared with you. And the ironic thing is I normally fabricate the award each year since year one. And this being an in-between OBC took place in September versus April, I was led to think by Team OBC that there wasn't going to be a Lifetime Achievement Award this time around. I'm going to continue it in April. I had no idea. They got HB Robert to fabricate this award for me. Stainless steel handlebars, TIG welded, of my design. Can't ask for much better. Thank you so much. Very grateful. Moving on to the shop, we're going to talk about kickstands again. This time around, motorcycle kickstands, which we haven't talked about yet. We did talk about the Jack Lawless kickstand and the Michigan built kickstand. This is another option. So let's go ahead and hit the shop and see what's happening with Peak Cycles. On to project number 2. This is a motorcycle kickstand made by TC Bros. It's a weld-on. This here welds to the frame, and it's designed for a specific radius of tubing of your frame. In this case, it's designed for an 1.25 inch motorcycle frame. The frame this is going on is I have a JP Scrap Father Bombita here. And this bottom tube here is 1.5 inches. This is 1 inch, so that kickstand tab isn't going to work on either one. I did explain to the owner we're going to have to grind away some powder coat here in order to weld it on. And what we're going to do is take this tab and cut it right there, straight down, where it'll be very much like all the other tabs in the bicycle world. Keep it moving. All right, assembly pretty straightforward. I didn't put the set screws in because I just wanted to do a mock-up, and it's a good thing I did because I was going to cut it originally right here. But if I cut it there, kickstand's going to be really close to where the welds are. So what I'm going to do is cut it lengthwise. And it'll give me a little more area and meat to weld it on and push the kickstand out just a little bit. Starting to cut, and I stopped so you can get a better idea of what I was referring to. I'm going to continue that cut all the way down, do it on the other side, which is going to give us a much longer tab than we would have if we would have cut this way. Rough cut. Not too concerned about it being perfect. We're going to grind it smooth and square it up, but right now it is smoking hot. So I'm going to let it cool off, and we'll check back on this in a bit. Much better. Again, this is smoking hot, so we're going to let it cool off. We'll put the kickstand back on, and I think we have more than we need now. Maybe trim it back some, but it's always better to have more than not enough. And just as I figured, we've got plenty now. I think I'm going to trim it back just a little bit, and we'll be ready to weld this on after I run some powder away. Trimmed it back just a hair, actually that much. And even though it doesn't seem like much, I just didn't want the kickstand hanging way out there. The closer we can get it to the frame, the stronger it'll be. Let's go ahead and start grinding some powder away. All tacked in. Pull off this ground and give it a look. Perfect. Go ahead and weld it in, and then I'll explain what I did to lock this up. All welded in. And people ask me all the time, well, what's the proper lean for a kickstand? And for me, you should be able to turn the wheel all the way the other direction and not have the bike fall that direction. That for me is the sweet spot. Natural stance, looks good. This kickstand has 2 set screws. One of them stops the kickstand from going this direction. The other one, which is nice, stops the kickstand from going that direction. Notice it's not hitting the frame. 2 adjustable Allen screws, you just keep spinning them till you find that nice area where you want them to stop, and you're good to go. Looking good. Time to call the client. There you go, motorcycle kickstand on a custom cruiser, which is not uncommon. I do have to emphasize though that MC kickstands are solid steel, they're heavy. So if you're not gonna go with the billet kickstand like a Michigan built or a Lawless kickstand, you're gonna be carrying a lot more weight. You may have to tweak a few things like we did today, but I've said this many times before, if you can think it, you can do it. I initially wanted to touch on the Motley Crue and Disco Moss builds. However, I received a couple of side projects like this with the kickstand, which brings me to our next episode, 69, which will be plug welding round tubing into square tube handlebars. Keep it going. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed today's version of what's happening at Peak Cycles. And until next time, make it a killer day! Morning. I got my, took out my buds in.